Good evening, ladies and germs, boys and girls, children of all ages. It is time once again for another episode of Midnight's Edge After Dark. We are here joined today by, as always, Mr. Tom Connors. How you doing?
I'm doing the best I can. Thank you, Rob. How about yourself?
Oh, I am doing fantastic. And we are joined by Mr. Mundane Matt from the Mundane Matt channel.
Yay!
Yay!
Sorry, I cheer myself all the time. That's how I stay pumped.
You're gonna keep that up and you'll go blind. But anyway,
I am your
narrator.
glasses, sir. That's why I wear glasses.
Who said that? What? Okay. I am your narrator supreme, Mr. Rob Robot Shlomo. And before we start, we have to throw a big shout out and a thank you to a Mr. Tomas Stavik. Now, you don't know that name, but you know his work. He is the man responsible for the new graphics for Midnight's Edge. So, big ups to Mr. Tomas Stavik before we start.
Amazing work.
Amazing work. Yes, we almost look like a professional outlet, don't we?
Yeah, but it's all downhill from there.
Yeah, not for long. Yeah, when I get a hold of it, not for much longer. But anyway, so we've actually got a bit of a lean show for you, but we're gonna make the most of it here. Right. So why don't we just jump right in?
Yeah, let's. Well, we didn't get to do.
What do you got? Yeah.
So we didn't get to do the box office on Monday, so we're gonna run down that real quick, and then we're just gonna get in some news and of course some Trek logs and the roundup as usual. All right, so first off in the box office, Kingsman opened up at number 1 with $39 million. It came in at second place with $29 million. The Lego Ninjago movie managed to rake in $20 million on its first weekend. American Assassin did 6. Mother dropped down to 5th place with $3.2 million. Home Again did $3.2 million. Friend Request dragged in about $2 million. Stronger did 1.6. The Hitman's Bodyguard did 1.6. That one's still hanging on there. That one did drop a few places, though. Wind River is still hanging in there at number 10, though, with 1.2. And Spider-Man this week dropped out of the top 10. It's down to number 11 now. It did another 1.6 million. So anything stick out to you guys, or?
I was hoping that Kingsman was going to break 40.
I think some negative word of mouth kind of tapered it off.
Yeah, it's completely unfounded negative word of mouth. Like, it's. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I went and saw it last week.
I can't really speak.
It.
Yeah, I mean, I've just heard a lot of negative word of mouth. I've heard some people say, it's like you just said, unwarranted. So until I actually see it, I can't say. So
yeah, because the thing is, I watched the first Kingsman before going and seeing the second one, like the night before, and just to kind of refresh my memory and everything else. And the best way I'll describe it is this: Kingsman 1 was kind of a mockery or a satire of the Sean Connery Bond era. This one is more poking fun at the Roger Moore Bond era, and so it's a lot bigger. And there's some interesting. It's a good movie. It's a little areas. It's kind of a little bit bloated for the sequelitis basically. But for the most part, it's got some good performances. I would say the marketing probably hurt the movie more so than the film itself. And the only reason why I say that's because Matthew Vaughn had no control over the marketing of the film. That was all 20th Century Fox, and that's when they put Colin Firth's spoiler, all over the marketing.
Right. You're up?
Not particularly. I'm just relieved the Emoji Movie has finally dropped off the radar completely. Well, dropped out of the top 10 completely. And Spider-Man, even though it's dropped out of the top 10, buy it on Blu-ray because I want to have discs around for a while longer, please. Yeah. So moving on. Well, what else we got in the news here?
Well, there's kind of, I don't know if you could call it a rumor necessarily because there's almost proof right in front of our eyes. Inhumans, according to reports, it may already be canceled, or at least it's only going to get one season or the short 8-episode run. There's posters or whatever out there that say the first chapter in IMAX theaters September 1st, which is already long gone, and it of course premieres this Friday. But on the posters it's saying complete series. So this is leading many to believe that after this is it. They're not going to do any more. They're not banking on this. This is also on the curtails of rumors going around and being reported online that the only reason Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. got renewed was because Disney had pressured ABC into keeping it. Now, both of these shows now are on Friday night. S.H.I.E.L.D., of course, is moving to Friday night, and they're premiering Inhumans on a Friday night. What do you guys think of this?
I think it's going to be okay, but Inhumans has an incredibly uphill battle that it probably won't win. And I blame Scott Buck for that. I blame him for that wholeheartedly.
Yeah, Scott Buck, I keep saying, can we, if Inhumans goes tits up, can we please stop pretending Scott Buck is some kind of major talent in Hollywood?
Let's see. He's already managed to ruin S.H.I.E.L.D. He ruined Iron Fist.
And he ruined Dexter well before that.
And according to many, yes, he ruined Dexter. So,
wait, he ruined S.H.I.E.L.D.? Like the S.H.I.E.L.D.?
No, he was on in the first season of the show, the worst season so far, other than the ones I haven't seen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It got better towards the end, and season 2 was freaking amazing. So, okay, because I didn't know that. Because season 1 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was definitely a bit wonky at times. It was also trying to find its footing to see where it fit in the MCU back when they actually cared. But let's be realistic here, and I think we all know the name I'm going to drop when it comes to the problems with the MCU. It's Perlmutter.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
You know, Perlmutter pulled the thing is, Perlmutter, I've said this theory, and people have given me a lot of crap over it, but it's like, I kind of think Perlmutter torpedoed Inhumans. I think he did it on purpose because Feige wanted it to be a movie. Go back to the Phase 3 reveal from 2014?
Yep.
And they had Inhumans for 2019 coming out. We already knew that we were in season 2 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They were already leaning towards the Inhumans anyway. They built that up with the end of that season. And then season 3 has a lot of Inhumans in it. Right. And then, and then all of a sudden now the Inhumans movie is gone and the TV show is coming. And I think they blew $90 million. I think Ike Perlmutter blew $90 million to torpedo a franchise in order just to spite Kevin Feige.
Frankly, I didn't think it was going to make it out of one season anyway. Rob and I were kind of talking about it yesterday a little bit, and we'd be surprised if they even get through all 8 episodes, to be honest.
Yeah, we might be looking at like a 2 a.m. burn off on Saturday nights.
Or like we said, they'll just dump it on home video and Netflix and stuff, and yeah.
Well,
we're gonna get the full episodes.
Yeah, but the thing that gets me is that this could have been something good. This easily could have been something good, and now we're never gonna know. So. Well,
the other question that Rob and I had was if they're even done with any more than a couple episodes. We didn't know if they had filmed the whole thing at once or what the deal was.
They filmed the whole episodes. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
It pretty much went straight to series. It went straight to series.
Well, I know they were banking on it quite a bit, so that doesn't surprise me. And we know the number's been thrown around quite a bit as far as how much was spent on it. So we know that was like almost $12 million an episode or whatever it was. So
okay. Yeah. So anyway, like I said, could have been, coulda, shoulda, didn't. So that pretty much sums up the Inhumans.
Oh yeah, and there's been plenty of times before that Rob's let his feelings be known on the Inhumans, especially considering he's pretty much an expert on the Inhumans, especially among us.
And I wouldn't call myself an expert. I just actually read them. That's
right.
Thing.
Well, that's just it. It's still among us. You're the expert, and you said that this just didn't look like the Inhumans from the beginning, and all of us kept saying it just looks like the '90s cartoon for the X-Men.
Okay.
Man, they should just bring that back.
Yeah.
I don't even update it. Just start running it again.
Yeah.
Right.
That's 5 seasons of awesome.
Captain, I believe it is time for the Trek Logs.
Space, the final frontier. These are Captain Robb's logs.
Okay. First item up on the Trek Logs. Discovery had its long-awaited premiere. As Russell Watson would say, beginning of Enterprise, it's been a long road for Discovery. And
getting from there to here.
Numbers, yes. And the numbers actually were pretty good. It pulled in 9.6 million viewers on CBS for the first half. And that's not bad after an 18-minute delay of being pushed back for the Packer game. They don't. And they claim, Deadline claims that CBS is saying they had record number of signups, but we don't have any numbers. They've been kind of cagey about that. But they're claiming success as if they'd say otherwise.
The rumor we hear about the number as far as signups to CBS All Access was not very many at all.
No.
In the region of 150 to 250,000 was what I was told from a couple of sources.
And I read somewhere that they were hoping for at least 400,000. So they still fell short. And I believe this wasn't even like the highest premiere for a Star Trek series. Matt, I saw your $3 Theater about Discovery. All I have to say is I do not share your feelings.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
I didn't think it was the worst thing ever. I did enjoy quite a bit of it. Then again, I'm also like, as I openly admitted in my video, I am a Star Wars guy. Yeah. So I clearly, prefer that over Trek, but I do love me some Trek. Yeah. I feel like reading into the idea that this was just kind of a pilot episode. This wasn't even okay. Like, I don't even think it's fair to call this a pilot episode. I would say you got to call this a prequel movie, right? Yeah. This is kind of like the Firefly, and that they had the 2 episodes that led into the pilot episode.
Like, yeah, this is kind of like that comic book, that prequel comic book that usually comes out, but they actually filmed it.
Yeah,
because all this stuff is not shit we should have seen in the first episode.
My view on it, this is not even a pilot. This is, to me, this was the pitch for it. Whether it's a pitch to the network or a pitch to get fans, whatever you want to take it. But they could have easily done this in the first episode, where she has a dream and she wakes up in a cell. Or she's in a penal colony, Federation penal colony somewhere,
and they just have flashbacks.
And they just tell it in flashbacks and like I said, my problem wasn't so much the story, whatever. My problem was the utter stupidity of everybody on the Shinju. Everybody was a gigantic idiot. So I don't know if you listened to the podcast we did about that, but
no, I did. I listened to it.
Okay.
I don't think. See, the thing is, I don't think everyone there was being an idiot. I think everyone there was unsure of what to do. You know what I mean? Like, in those moments, the Shinju going up against, was that a bird of prey?
No, they called it the sarcophagus ship, but it was really a bird of prey. Who are they kidding?
Just because I'm looking at that going like, that looks really familiar. I'm like, I saw like the head and the long neck. And I'm all like, ooh, is it a bird of prey? Because I just, I've always loved that bit of the.
My personal theory is that they came up like my personal theory is that someone showed Les Moonves the Klingon bird of prey, and he probably said, let's make it look more like a bird. Add some feathers to it.
And the feathers can really be sarcophaguses.
Yeah, exactly.
But the thing is, though, I did enjoy the aspect of the Klingons being like, Tukavma wanting to be the new messiah, wanting to unite the houses. And that was the thing, is like referencing Trump supporters, I think was not the best course of action in terms of how to, kind of talk about what this was, but then again, when they said like, this, like the isolationism and the nationalism, because that's basically what they wanted. They wanted a Klingon ethno-state. That's what they wanted. Right, that was all Tukavma wanted. He just wanted everyone to be on, on Kronos or Konos, whatever it was, and then just to be there, and that was all. Like, that's when he says, like, I don't, like, oh, we're on the edges of your territory or the Federation territory. I don't see it that way. You're in our space, right? Like, yeah. That's all he wants, is he wants an ethno-state. So I thought that was a very interesting aspect of the character. The dialogue, though, was like, I don't understand why it was so slow. That was my biggest complaint with that. Was like, I'm reading the dialogue faster than you're speaking it, but at like what felt like a breakneck pace. It's just like, are you stumbling through your lines? I feel like I feel like what they should have done is had the actors on set recite the dialogue and then just like have someone in ADR just speed it the hell up. But I will say this though, a friend of mine signed up for CBS All Access to finish watching the first episode, then canceled his account. Right. And because he was pissed, because he says like, I don't pay, he's like, I'm not gonna pay for like network television. But then he goes, oh well, when we canceled it, they offered us 2 months at half off.
Oh man,
They should have done what Netflix did, because they're trying to be Netflix, so actually be Netflix and film the entire 17 episodes and have people binge watch it.
well, speaking of a season, actually, the Nerdist just dropped this bit of news. The second season may not come until 2019.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Alex Kurtzman said, we have a larger picture for season 2 if we're lucky to get a season 2 order. Which seems to me they're hedging. Yeah, he's hedging his bets, really. I don't think all is well within the house of Moonves. So
The thing is, though, given where Paramount is right now, and I know Paramount and CBS are separate, but they're still under the Viacom umbrella, so it's, they're still sister companies, and they do share the property. I would say they're going to give it a season 2, strictly as a way to. They've already established everything, so they're going to want to see if they can fix it. They can right the ship, because I read an interview with the showrunner that said you got to watch episode 3. Episode 3 is like a whole new pilot. That's going to be establishing Discovery.
The rumor was that it kind of was a whole new pilot.
then why don't you just start with episode 3?
Because they spent a bunch of money on this pilot.
They need to establish Michael's character and also Saru's character. Like they need to establish that in a way that's going to.
Matt. You're winding me up here.
I know I'm winding you up, but I still think like they did this on purpose because they needed to show that people were mad at Starfleet. Starfleet would never do that sort of thing. You don't know that. At all. These are humans. Humans make mistakes, but I think that's the core emphasis of the show. Is people are ragging on Michael Burnham's character. She was fighting between two ideologies, the Vulcan and the human. That was it. And she wanted to appease Sarek. She also wanted to do her job, and she cared about people. She spent 7 years on that vessel, right? That was the whole key point there. She spent 7 years on that vessel,
which I do not buy.
and she didn't. Apparently, she didn't learn a damn thing.
No, she was learning. Yeah, but she also has to break the conditioning. It takes time. That's the whole issue there. Is it takes time to break down this sort of thing. And there's going to be flashbacks. Maybe the subtext there is something I picked up on or whatever, but it's I'm looking at character motivations from just a motivational standpoint. And I saw what she was doing as I need to fix this and then making mistakes along the way, because that's the entire point. She's not perfect. Everyone's I saw some people reference her as a Mary Sue or something. And it's no, not everyone liked her.
She's no Mary Sue. No,
she's no Mary Sue.
I said she's an anti-Mary Sue because everything she does is the wrong thing.
Exactly, but that's also the point, though. Is we're meant as the audience to grow with her character, right? She clearly wasn't ready for the position that Commander Jojo wanted her to be for. She clearly wasn't ready for any of this stuff. She is impulsive. She's human, and humans make mistakes, and I think that's a prime emphasis there. And so we're going to get more out of her, because now that she's kind of hit rock bottom, she's going to be in jail, sentenced for life, and clearly she goes on to the Discovery. But it's, you have that little bit. Did you guys see the little preview for the season?
Actually, yeah, we did. And that was another thing. We saw some preview photographs, some stills from the upcoming episode 3, where she has the prison uniform on, which is actually the closest thing to the prime timeline you can get in this thing. It has the command. Yeah,
I don't look at this as a prime show. I don't.
No, it isn't. But it isn't. But they keep saying it is.
Yeah,
I don't.
They can't make up their mind if it's a prime show or if it's a reboot. If it's a prime show, if it's a reboot.
Honestly, the ideal ending would be to just close the cell door on Michael Burnham, clang, and that's it. And 50 years and 40 years later, 30 years later, Captain Montgomery Scott is teaching a class at Starfleet. Now, lads and lasses, we're going to be learning about leadership. Now, this is not what you're supposed to do. We point to Michael Burnham. This is not what you do in this situation.
In fact, we called this one the Michael Burnham.
You do not want to pull a Burnham on this one. So that's the Trek log.
Oh boy.
Oh Lord.
It's going to be fun to discuss this next week.
I was going to say, what's in the roundup? Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the roundup.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, you join us for the roundup. These are all the stories that really don't fit anywhere else, but we're going to bring them to you the best we can. We have a lot of anime fans in Midnight's Edge. I don't know if, Matt, you're an anime fan.
I'm no filthy weeb, so no.
Okay.
No, I have nothing against anime. I just don't watch it.
Well, anyway, this brings two worlds together, the world of anime and Bad Robot. A Japanese anime phenom, Your Name, not Your Name actually, but that's the name of it, Your Name, to become.
Say, who wants to go see an anime called Tom?
Exactly. Anyways, a Japanese anime phenom, Your Name, to become live-action movie from Paramount, Bad Robot, and a rival screenwriter. Deadline is reporting the highest-grossing film ever to come out of Japan, earning $355 million worldwide when it was released last year, and it held the top spot for 12 non-consecutive weeks running in the country. And it's the highest-grossing film ever released from Japan in China, with $85 million. Now, Paramount Pictures and Bad Robot have joined with Japanese-based Toho Company, and if you don't recognize that name, they brought you the original Godzilla movies. To bring Your Name to worldwide audiences is a live-action feature with Oscar-nominated screenwriter Eric Heiserer on board to write the script. And Eric Heiserer, he wrote The Arrival, so big news from that. And people love or hate J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot, but what are you going to do? Moving on, Bruce Willis, John McClane. Bruce Willis to return as John McClane for one more Die Hard. Yes, Yippee-ki-yay! Mema Gemma. Unilad.com is reporting nearly 2 years after it was announced, the producers were working on a part prequel, part sequel installment to the seemingly bottomless film series. Director Len Wiseman has confirmed that the main man, Bruce Willis, is on board. The film will be a parallel story featuring Bruce Willis' role as John in the present day, and the new actor playing the vigilante during his younger years as a New York cop.
Here we go with Die Hard. I'm sick of it. Or sick of it, whatever. I mean, I fucking remember hearing about this like 2 years ago, like I said. And I was hoping it just floundered and died. But, oh god, here we go again. I do not want somebody else playing John McClane. I don't want to see a younger version. I'd rather not have another Die Hard movie altogether if this is what they're going to do. I don't know if you agree with that, Mundane Matt, but I mean, I'm a huge Die Hard fan, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm a huge Die Hard fan too. I mean, I often say that Die Hard is the best action movie of all time.
I have to agree with
yes.
that. It's also mandatory holiday watching. I don't care how old you are. It's just Die Hard is in and of itself a cultural icon.
Yes.
And it's one that, the trilogy I think was good, right? I love Die Hard 2. Wasn't as good as the first one, but Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Oh, it's amazing.
McTiernan really just brought it home, and I think did a great job. Plus, I would be down to see what they have to do. I even enjoyed the fourth one.
Yeah, it has its moments.
It has its moments. The fifth one was just like
that's
okay.
why I'm that's why I'm like I'd rather not see another one at all if this is what they're gonna do. Yeah.
If they're gonna do it, they have to do it right. Now the what they're doing is the parallel storytelling. So old McClane, young McClane. Nobody wants that, right? Like nobody really wants that unless it's kind of like the young McClane is, because there was a pitch. Okay, I don't know if you remember, there was that pitch in Variety. The one producer took out a full-page ad. Is like a younger producer. I think Eric Snyder is his name, and he pitched it like that same concept where it was kind of like a parallel story, but it would be, this one serial killer from the past, not serial killer, like one murder from the past or something that kind of comes back up 30, 40 years later, and old McClane is, brought back in to help solve the case. Right. And like if they were to do something along the lines of that, I think it could be okay. The problem with Die Hard 4 and Die Hard 5, completely bloated. Mm-hmm. Like they went to Chernobyl and neither one of them got radiation poisoning at all from being in Chernobyl.
Well, it was like Bruce Willis forgot how to play McClane anyway. And he's not even McClane in those movies. He's just Bruce Willis.
Well, I would say there was a couple McClane-isms in both 4 and 5.
4 to a point, yes. 5 I can't stand from beginning to end. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was just a clusterfuck of.
Okay, well, clusterfuck. Jai Courtney. That's all I gotta say.
I like Jai Courtney though. I like Jai Courtney, so I'm down. I'm a big Jai Courtney fan. He was great in Spartacus. If you guys ever saw the first season of Spartacus.
Not the whole
That's-
thing.
That's one with Lucy Lawless, right?
Yeah.
Still so hot. Okay. Okay, an animated Teen Titans movie is coming to theaters in July of 2018. This is from BatmanNews.com. Hey, a new outlet we never heard of. Buried in the Warner Brothers announcement today about a sequel to It was an announcement for an animated Teen Titans Go movie. Teen Titans Go is what previously was known as Untitled Animation Film, set for summer 2018. Warner Brothers announced today that Teen Titans Go will hit theaters on July 27, 2018. Teen Titans Go is an animated TV series on Cartoon Network, currently in its fourth
It's
season.
pretty popular. I've seen bits and pieces, but never actually seen it. Not surprised.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I've never watched it.
I mean, I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it, but it's not bad. Okay, now we had some debate about this.
This is the one I'm going to shut up on.
Yes. Michelle Williams in talks to join Tom Hardy and Riz Ahmed in the Venom movie. Deadline is reporting Michelle Williams is the latest A-list actor to jump into the world of comic book movies. The Oscar-nominated star is in talks to join Sony's Venom, starring Tom Hardy in the titular role of the iconic Spider-Man villain. Sony wouldn't comment, but sources say talks are underway. Once signed on, Williams will also join recent Emmy Award-winning Night of actor Riz Ahmed. Details about the role and the movie's plot have been kept under wraps. So, Tom just disputes that Michelle Williams is an A-list actor. And we were
Nothing against her, but
I have nothing against her too.
she's just not an A-list.
She's not
actor.
A-list.
Yeah, she's not. I don't know.
Yeah,
Whoever
she's
the
not
fuck wrote
A-list.
that has no idea what an A-list actress or actor is.
Like, she's definitely like, maybe A- or B+ or whatever. Like, she's known, but she's clearly not. You know, she's in movies every year.
Okay.
But
Okay,
she's not
I
A-list.
was saying to Tom last night. Let's ask you. Okay, Zoe Saldana, A-list or not?
Yes.
Okay, Julie Roberts.
Yeah, always will be. She'll always be A-list.
Okay, Jennifer Lawrence.
Yes, absolutely.
Salma Hayek. I don't think that Salma Hayek's really an A-list actor.
She's never been A-list in my opinion. Salma Hayek is a known actor.
Yeah. Well,
So
I'm just using an excuse for Tom to put a picture of Salma Hayek on the feed, so.
She was the best part
okay,
of Hitman's Bodyguard. I don't know if Matt saw that, but
She was good in Hitman's
loved her,
Bodyguard.
man.
I like the whole movie.
oh,
from
I
start
loved
to
it
finish,
too.
though.
But yeah, she stole the show in an already great movie. Yeah.
She's really good at dog.
But yeah, Angelina. Oh yeah, that's another one of my favorites. Angelina Jolie, another A-lister. All these people we named A-listers. Fucking Michelle
Williams
hasn't made a big movie since Shutter Island.
I'll have you know that I was on Dawson's Creek. I was the top WB star in 1997. Oh my God.
Well, Michelle Williams has pretty much always been indie film, you know, and she's dipped her toe into big Hollywood productions every once in a while, but for the most part, you know, just kind of tends to go where she works well.
But she did get started in H2O, for fuck's sake. Halloween.
Yeah, I mean, and no one would say that movie is.
I liked it at the time, but I mean, I'm not sad to see it go with this new Halloween movie coming up here either. So, but anyway.
So anyway, Matt, I don't know if you're a baseball fan.
No.
Okay, well, anyway, I thought this was an interesting story. Shane Abbas to direct Teammates, movie about the Chicago Cubs World Series win. Deadline is reporting the movie about the Chicago Cubs World Series win is moving forward. Shane Abbas, an Australian director who is a major baseball fan, has signed on to direct Teammates, the movie about the Chicago Cubs winning the World Series, their first World Series since 1908. Die-hard Cubby fan Bill Murray has been in talks to join the team as manager Joe Madden, but it's not clear whether or not that will happen. The feature film is produced by Chicagoan Ted Field through his Radar Pictures. It is about the Cubs winning in 2016 and is based on the book by retired catcher David Ross and Don Yeager titled Teammates, My Journey in Baseball and a World Series for the Ages.
I'd watch it. I like baseball movies.
Yeah. Baseball movies are good.
The last baseball movie I saw was Moneyball, and I felt bad.
I kind of like that one, so that sucks. That was all right.
Well, it was all right, but it's also like, it was a drama.
Yeah.
It was free. I saw it for free at an early screening when I lived in LA. So
That's the best price of all.
yeah.
So anyway,
I think that was just
so Matt,
badly campaigned because I think they kind of toted it as more like a comedy, and I don't know. It felt to me like they mismarketed it.
Yeah, it definitely did seem like it was advertised as a comedy. Speaking of comedies, Coming to America sequel moving forward with Kenya Barris and Jonathan Levine. I don't know if you guys.
I will take what are bad ideas for 1,000, Alex.
This idea is definitely coming a few years too late. Variety is reporting Paramount Pictures is moving forward on a sequel to the 1988 Eddie Murphy comedy Coming to America, with Jonathan Levine on board to direct a script by Blackish creator Kenya Barris. Levine, whose credits include Snatched, The Night Before, 50-50, and Warm Bodies, will direct a script that Barris will rewrite from a screenplay by original writers Barry Blaustein and David Sheffield, and Kevin Mishner is producing. Murphy is involved with the development of the sequel, although there is no deal in place for him yet to star.
I can already tell you what the movie's gonna be, man. It's gonna be this. It's gonna be my kid is gonna come to America to look for a husband, because I'm gonna have a daughter, see? So it's gonna be role reversal. Get it? And it's gonna work. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be amazing. We're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
Ice cream! Okay.
Ice cream!
So,
The ice cream man is coming.
well, anyway, okay. Well, like I said, now we know why Paramount is in such bad shape. So
This
They just- yeah,
seems
that's
like
just-
desperation almost. I mean, I love Eddie Murphy, don't get me wrong, and Coming to America was one of my favorite ones of his, but yeah, this is like 20 years too late. Unless that's what the plot is going to be, exactly what I just joked.
he's probably the king now, and he's probably his son is probably going to be
Son or
doing
daughter,
the same
yeah.
thing he did. Yeah. So anyway, speaking of long overdue ideas, the long brewing Cleopatra movie may have found its director in Blade Runner 2049 director Denis Villeneuve.
Villanueva? How do you say that, Matt? You could probably say it better than any of us.
Oh, dude, I have no idea. I just kind of stuttered my way through it.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's like Villanueva.
Yeah, that's what I've kind of heard, too.
Or is that the dude from the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I don't either.
even know.
And of course, Andre's not here. He'd be able to pronounce it, not us. Yeah. That's what we always say is the only guy in the group that can actually pronounce things right is the guy from clear over in Norway. We can't say shit right.
Yeah. Who's not a native English speaker. Yeah, exactly. But anyway, Sony's Log and Battle Cleopatra movie looks like it could be back on track. And this is from IMDb, yeah.
Yeah, this is familiar because this is the famous or infamous Cleopatra movie that Angelina Jolie was attached to in the email hack with Amy Pascal.
Yes. Actually, Blade Runner. Anyways, it's back on track with Blade Runner director Denis Villeneuve.
And he had to try it again.
Yes. The Arrival helmer is in talks to direct the project from producer Scott Rudin and
Just call him Denny.
Denny. You could call me Dennis. I didn't know you were called Dennis. You didn't bother to find out. Anyway, from producers Scott Rudin and Amy Pascal Vehicles, Scott Rudin Productions, and Pascal Pictures banner. The movie is based on the Stacy Schiff's best-selling book Cleopatra: A Life, which paints the Egyptian ruler as a shrewd negotiator and a female figure that shaped human history in her short life. David Scarpa, who wrote The Day the Earth Stood Still, is writing the screenplay.
Joke there.
More evidence that Paramount is out of ideas. James Cameron, Tim Miller, Terminator Eye, summer 2019 release date. Paramount announced that the James Cameron produced and Tim Miller directed Terminator will hit screens on July 26, 2019. Skydance Media is a producer on the latest film in the long-running franchise. And as a side note, filming is now officially underway for the Avatar movies. Deadline Hollywood reports that the budget for all 4 films is expected to exceed $1 billion.
But yes, they're supposedly actually underway now.
Yes.
After 16 years, and yeah, no, actually it's closer to 10 or a little more than 10, but yeah.
And yeah. Well, and sadly, we have to end the roundup on a down note. We have lost an American icon. Hugh Hefner has left us at the ripe old age of 91.
Of natural causes, by the way. Of natural causes.
Quote unquote natural causes. But no, Hugh. I often joke that there was a time where I probably accounted for 10% of Playboy's profits. So I mean, yes, there were some lean years for the old Shlomo there. Let me tell you, it has been a challenging mating season for Shlomo. So.
The younger kids just don't understand how important this man was.
And hey, and we used to have to leave the house to see porn. Okay, it was a totally different world back then.
The good old days.
Yeah, and Playboy, you used to hold your head high that you were buying in Playboy. Yes, this is an American institution. I am a connoisseur of pornography. So,
I just get it for the articles.
Wait. There's articles in there. I look at it for the naked women.
And the cartoons.
There were like 3 pictorials or spreads through each, like 120-page article or 120-page magazine. So what was in the rest? Just advertisements? Come on, man.
Pretty much between advertisements and
There's some good Q&As, some good short stories.
Some of the most famous interviews ever have come out of Playboy magazine.
I know John Lennon actually had one of his last interviews in Playboy magazine. One of his last in-depth interviews. And actually, we do owe a debt to Hugh Hefner and Playboy that Midnight's Edge After Dark has a shared name with the old TV series Playboy After Dark.
Was basically the inspiration, to be honest with you.
Exactly. But a very kind of loose kind of. It started way back in the 60s, in like the early 60s. It was a syndicated show, and it was the idea that was, like I said, a bunch of people and gathered around in his apartment for a party, and you were a guest. And actually, he had on a lot of like African American performers before it was common to do so. I mean, Sammy Davis Jr. was a guest. I think Louis Armstrong was actually a guest. He had a lot of really, really big talent on the show.
Well, he was always, even though, despite what he was obviously most famous for, he was a very classy guy.
Yes.
This guy was in movies. This guy was in TV shows. He's been played in movies. He's been played in TV. You know, I mean, even Stan Lee was him in that. Yeah.
In Iron Man, yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's an icon. He's an icon.
And actually, on Howard, he spoke to Howard Stern a number of years ago, and this is very fitting. He is going to be entombed right next to Marilyn Monroe, who appeared in the first issue of Playboy. So,
nice.
Hugh Hefner, we're gonna miss you.
Will be missed. So we want to thank Mundane Matt for joining us once again here on the show, as always.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you very much for having me.
And hopefully we're going to get to hear from him again soon in this next week on how we feel about the next episode of Star Trek Discovery. So that'll be an interesting conversation. So, Rob, anything to say before we go?
Booyah. That's all I got to say. No, that's all I got to say. But
did you say boobies or booyah?
I said boobies, but okay. Down
at the end of the show, I got away with it. Ha ha.
Well, like you said, once again, we'd like to thank Tomas Stavik for our new graphics. We'd like to thank all of you for joining us. We cannot do this show without you. So we'd like to remind everybody, if you do enjoy the show, to please hit that subscribe button and to click the bell icon. That way you are notified every time new content is uploaded. And we'd also like to thank Mundane Matt, and we'd like to encourage you to subscribe to his channel as well, and his sister channel, 3 Buck Theater. He's got a lot of great stuff, a lot of great analysis for you. And if you like the show, please consider supporting the show through Patreon. We take the support through Patreon. We use it to make the show better by investing in equipment and software, all so we can make the show better for you. And as thanks for being supporters on Patreon, we also have exclusives for you. We have Behind the Edge documentaries. We have early access to mini documentaries. You can get the full, unedited, unaltered audio from the Alien mini documentary as a Patreon user. So please consider supporting through Patreon if you have the means. And if not, we thank you anyway for your support. And once again, for Mundane Matt, who has left us apparently.
No, I didn't know. I didn't know you were.
So once again, thank you, Mundane Matt, for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
And Mr. Tom Connors.
Of course.
I am your narrator supreme, Robot Shlomo, signing off from Shabby Road Studios. We will see you next time.